آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك، أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اجعل هذا الجمع جمعا مرحوما والتفرق بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تدع فينا شقيا ولا محروما. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to him, and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah that we do bear witness that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today inshallah we will be dealing with, still we are in chapter al-Baqarah, Surah al-Baqarah. Last time we started, as you remember, since 3 or 4 sessions, we are highlighting, trying to explain the number of ayat related to money and sadaqah, charity in general. We highlighted a lot of meanings. On top of them, money belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Islam. And it's a trust in your hand. You're a trustee. It is a trust, and Allah the real owner, and you are just a servant. You are asked to benefit, to deal with, take care, protect, enjoy in a legal, halal way. The rest, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks you to do it in terms of sadaqah, highly recommended. Zakah, which is the compulsory alms, you have to do it because simply you are working with your master in taking care of the money that belongs to him. This is a very important base point. If we lose it, we'll go by default to the methodology of Qarun. By default. Yani if you don't accept this methodology, by default you've placed yourself in the status or in the place, on the position of Qarun. قال إنما أوتيته على علم عندي. This clearly, by the way, it's like right and left. There's nothing in the middle. قارون كان من قوم موسى. He used to be from the people of Moses, which means from the children of Israel, living in Egypt under Pharaoh, under oppression, under torture. Yet he was cooperating with the oppressor against his own people. Yani literally traitor. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him, قال آتيناه من الكنوز ما إن مفاتحه لتنوء بالعصبة أولي القوة. We gave him wealth to a degree that the keys of the doors of his wealth and treasuries, they were in need to usbah. Usbah, it's an Arabic word, refers to a very strong men between 3 to 9. The average is 7. 7 men at least to hold the keys. Can you imagine? In our simple language, multi-billionaire or multi-trillionaire. Our points. When Allah reminded him through some believers of the children of Israel in that time, وَابْتَغِ فِيمَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. Seeking what Allah has given you the hereafter. However, don't forget your share in this dunya. His reply was, and this is my point, إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. It's just by my efforts, my knowledge, my power, my, period, full stop, انتهى. Allah is completely outside his equation and vocabulary. The end result, فَخَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِهِ الْأَرْضِ. We commanded the earth to swallow him with all of his wealth and power. Finished. Close the file. This is like a methodology, and this is a methodology. We as Muslims, we have, by the way, Quran is not for entertainment. Stories in the Quran not for entertaining us. It's for what? Ibrah. What is the Ibrah? Listen. Take a lesson from it. What's the lesson? The money. Our point now is the money. The problem of Qarun with money was what? My money, I gained them by my whatever, effort, power, knowledge, IQ, whatever. In Islam, the true Islam, what is it? You are This is a trust. Under your hand, you are a servant working with Allah. Period. Always I repeat this introduction. We are dealing with about 22 verses about sadaqah and money. Last time, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned a lot of ayat about sadaqah, last time we highlighted the riba. Part of this 22 verses. At the very end of chapter alBaqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlighted the ayah of riba, usury, or interest, what we call now. And last time, if you remember, I finished just telling you why riba is haram, why interest is haram in Islam, if you remember. And very quickly, if you want the details, go back. Money is something very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the money to be replaced as a transaction, as a means, as a tool of communication economically. Either you take an items, goods, services, or partnership, or something. But we don't hold the money and we don't exchange money with money, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this prohibited. And I explained that. If you are interested in this, go to the previous one. Now we will continue next verse, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا. After he mentioned, let's just remember you the ayah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. الَّذِينَ, I will just read it, just to keep you on the track, then I will start with today's. الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا فمن جاءه موعظة من ربه فانتهى فله ما سلف وأمره إلى الله ومن عاد فأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. Those who consume interest will stand on judgment day like those who driven to madness by Satan's touch. This is because they say trade is no different than interest, but Allah has permitted trading and forbidden interest. Whoever refrains after having received warning from their Lord may keep their previous gains, and their case is left to Allah. As for those who persist, it is they who will be residents of the fire. They will be there forever. يمحق الله الربا ويربي الصدقات والله لا يحب كل كفار أثيم. Allah has made interest fruitless. Whatever you see, you know riba, it's just numbers on the computers. No real value. One of the biggest evidence for that, what they call it, the intercession. Go and read in Google the Great Intercession 1939 in America. Billions like this. Go and read about 2008 Great Intercession. Recession. I'm sorry. Okay, the recession. Okay? Complete destruction for billions and billions in hours. But how? If this is a real value, imagine I have a real gold equal to $10 billion. Can they disappear in minutes? They don't disappear. Even if you burn the fire with them, it will not be affected. But if they are nothing, you will just discover, or those who were brainwashed, they will realize that they were owning nothing, because interest is nothing, just numbers. That's why I can imagine, for example, if you have a debt, you have a mortgage, or you have a debt, 100,000, you were able to repay the bank, let's say, for example, 50,000, then you could not return the loan. You will lose your credits, you might go to jail, then they will sell your debt to another company. Like what do? The 50,000 will be sold to another collecting agency. Collecting agency will buy the 50 by 40. Okay? Yes. To benefit from the 10,000. This collecting agency will sell maybe to another, like subcontractor, another collecting agency, the 40 with the 20. Now those who received now in theory, the bank number one is owning 50,000 still. It's his money. He sold it on the computer to another agency on the computer, okay, with 40. So the 50 became 40, okay, and those received the 50 for them on computer. Then those will be considered having the 40 now, or the 50 or whatever. They will sell it with a 20 for a third collecting agency. That third one or second one or fourth one, it depends, will start chasing you to your house, sending you letters, speaking with the police, with whatever. Whatever happened, at the end, on the computer, this has sold X to this on computer, just empty numbers. And this will now, in theory, on the banks, all of them, they own money. In reality, none of them owns anything. That's why it's fake. So they will keep just playing numbers with numbers on computer. Numbers. This, when they say the Great Recession, which means they reach to a point, khalas, the explosion will happen. Once this happens, just you will wake up a morning, 2 banks, 5 insurance companies, big whatever companies owning billions, all of them, they're bankrupt. Because simply they were owning nothing. Who will be the real loser? The simple lay people, individuals, who put their savings there. Bankruptcy by law. What shall I do? Go and sleep, habibi. Khalas. Try to prepare yourself for your akhirah, to the hereafter. What shall I do? Nothing. Just shut up your mouth and go and sleep. Millions of people. Do you think when Allah makes this haram, just because Allah wants to restrict our life? No, because it hurts us. It's harming. I'm giving you, okay, I'm not expert in finance. I'm just giving you in a very simple way. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm just explaining what's the meaning of yamhaqullahu riba. I'm giving you a real example about the mahq, fruitless. Just numbers, disappeared. What kind of money is this? What kind of money, real value now? If a simple hacker, he's 18 years old, can just look, tick. Somehow he managed to take your money from your bank account and no one can do anything. I lost everything by someone who's clicking on a piece of plastic. What kind of value is this? Sorry, someone has lost your money because it was, what? The 5 millions? It's my savings for the last 50 years? Yes, we can do nothing. It's an international crime. We have to speak with the police الدولي? The Interpol. Okay, I'm sorry. It's beyond our. What do you mean? 5 millions? Lost. What's this? How? Anyway, I'm just explaining the meaning yamhaq. Okay? Destroys. Okay? Demolish. Completely. يمحق الله الربا ويربي الصدقات. And charity fruitful. SubhanAllah, the barakah in your time, the barakah in your health, the barakah and the blessings at the day of judgment. مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة. You know, it's like the grain which 10 times, 700 times. So Allah will multiply. Maybe your simple sadaqah with sincerity that has been paid by you at a certain time, you might find it as mountains of ajr because of your sincerity. But while riba is completely the opposite exactly. This is the meaning of يمحق الله الربا ويربي الصدقات والله لا يحب كل كفار أثيم. Allah has made interest fruitless and charity fruitful, and Allah does not like any ungrateful evildoer. Ungrateful evildoer. Kafar athim. Allah used the word the disbeliever for the one in the context of accepting the riba, as if it's an indication. The one who insists in this, he has left, or he is rejecting the hukum of, or the legislation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وأقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Now Allah was talk about charity. Then after that speak about riba. Allah is threatening, us by be careful, no fruits, fruitless, be careful. Then Allah is giving glad tidings for the other side of the coin, because we have right, left, black, white, up, down, small, big. The other side of the coin, what is it? Those قال, indeed, those who believe, do good, establish prayer, and pay alms tax will receive their reward from their Lord, and there will be no fear for them, nor will they grieve. The most important thing in this ayah, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. This ayah is talk about good deeds, which is excellent. Such as, on top of them, عَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, good deeds. But before good deeds, believe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, عَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, good deeds, prayer, almsgiving, helping the poor, excellent. But the basic condition is what? آمَنُوا. I will keep repeating this concept because one of the most important concepts in our life now. We are living with under a very strong, let's say, influence of materialism and a very tough liberal secularism or liberalism, which a lot of it based on the idea of individualism, materialism, okay? Which means spirituality, what they call spirituality, or religion, or God, or al-akhirah, in most of the cases is not mentioned. It has no value in this equation. In this context, we have to keep reminding ourselves, because we are living in this world, our kids are going to these schools, they are listening to this media, they are influenced with these philosophies in their cartoons, stand-up comedians, movie films, Hollywood, stand-up, whatever, this kind of a flood of influence, which plants the seeds of making the life more or less based on individualism and materialism, and rejecting the metaphysics, which is beyond the physical world, which is the akhirah, God, the angels, believe, after death, all of these meanings. Always we have to keep repeating. Good deeds, nice, be human, be not. Wait. Do you believe or not? If not, everything is fake. Even if you do it, you will be benefiting just here. After death, for your eternal life, no benefit. This is basic in Islam. Because the debate now, as in Arabic, it's very famous now. The new Arab liberals always keep saying now, imitating the Westerners who did it long time ago. Be human, no matter whether you are religious or not, no matter what religion you follow, but be human. I think you have heard this. كن إنسانا بغض النظر عن أي دين تتبع حتى لو لم تكن متدينا. Hooray! You see, this is a big misleading statement. Big misleading. Be human. You heard me 10 times say it. Sometimes, for the sake of argument, I say which version of humanity. Because this is a big fake unreality. Do humans agree on a great values, all of them? Yes or no? If that's true, if humans, they have a common sense on a what do you call it? A religion? What is the religion of humanity? What is? Who represents humanity? Let someone answer me. Who represents humans? Germans? Nazis? Communists? Chinese? Seriously? Putin's of Russia? Zelensky of Ukraine? Who's representing humanity? Who? Europe? Americans? Chinese? Japanese? No, seriously, who? I'm asking a logical question. Who is representing humanity? We say, be human. Which version of humanity? I say, Germans, they were humans, but they were Nazis. And if they were not defeated in the Second World War, they caused indirectly with the whole war about 52 millions of deaf people they killed. They caused the death of 52 millions without mass destruction. Do they represent humans? But Italians, Fascism, Mussolini, they did the same. Who represents First World War, Second World War? Most of them, they were Europeans, white Europeans, civilized Europeans. They caused about the death of about 82 millions. Without mass destruction weapons, by the way. Without. Because even the Hiroshima and Nagasaki nuclear bombs, the two bombs, both of them, to the best of my knowledge, they killed less than 300,000, about 250,000, just which is nothing in our calculations now, nothing. But the 82 millions with the classical, weapons. But they are humans. We are talking about the whole continent of Europe. Are they humans or not? When you say follow humanity, which humanity? So no, we have to be very clear in Islam. If you don't believe, believe in what, ya Sheikh? Just believe. Leave it to your Lord. La habibi. You have to believe in what your Lord wants. Okay? Iman. To believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the only creator of the universe and the only being who deserves to be worshipped, and to believe in his religion, and to believe in his last messenger, and to believe in his last book. Otherwise, linguistically, anyone who believes in anything is called believer. Okay? This is very important. إن الذين آمنوا, then عملوا الصالحات أقاموا الصلاة آتوا الزكاة. Excellent. No Imam, all of these things will benefit nothing in the hereafter. طيب. Next point. Am I not gonna benefit from these things at all? No, you will be benefited just in this dunya. Not just in this worldly life. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken a decision. Anyone does a good deed will be rewarded. But the place of reward, you decide it. The location. We have just two locations to be rewarded in. Worldly life, hereafter. If you believe, you will be rewarded here and there. If you don't believe, you will just be rewarded here in the hereafter. وَمَا لَهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ. It's not my word. They will have no share, whatever simple it is, in the day of judgment. That's why you might see an unbeliever who's fighting Allah, who's doing all of bad things against his Lord. Yes, he's enjoying, or she's enjoying a good health, good wealth, prestige, reputation. It could be just part of the reward for him in this dunya. Because Jahannam is waiting for him. You need to know that. Okay? So in light of this, إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وأقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. The condition now. Indeed, those who believe. Basic. Your passport, your visa to get into the area. Now, will be followed by good deeds. Do good deeds. Establish prayer. Pay alms. Will receive their reward from their Lord. And there will be no fear for them, nor they will grieve. لا خوف ولا يحزنون. Which means no real fear in this dunya and in the hereafter, inshallah. طيب. يا أيها الذين, now we have a very serious two verses which I will focus the core of my talk today. I will read the two verses. I will read the direct translation. Then I will add my inputs. Very serious too. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا إن كنتم مؤمنين. All believers, fear Allah and give up outstanding interest if you are true believers. فإن لم تفعلوا فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله. وإن تبتم فلكم رؤوس أموالكم لا تظلمون ولا تظلمون. Now, O believers, fear Allah and give up outstanding interest if you are true believers. If you do not, then beware of a war with Allah and His Messenger. But if you repent, you may retain your principle, neither inflicting nor suffering harm. Last time I highlighted, but without a full explanation, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now is declaring war. Number one, He said, stop dealing with interests and keep your capital for you, no problem. خلاص, Allah will forgive you, but don't keep dealing with interest, which gives you the amazing, beautiful tolerance that we have it in Islam. Islam did not come to destroy you. Say, stop doing the harm. Stop doing the bad. You will be forgiven. Just stop it. طيب, if you insist, there is a consequences in the law of Allah. There's a consequence. Like now, if a police officer asks you to pull over, by law, if you refuse to stop, seriously, if you refuse to stop, you will be a criminal by law. Now the authority that the police officer has it to chase you or to stop you will be horrible. And if you refuse, you know what will happen. May God be with you. May God be with you. If you are holding your hands inside your pockets, if police officer says, stop, show me your hands, you refused. Show me your hands, you refused. Leave your hands slowly. If you try to do it like this, they will shoot you. You deserve it. But what can I do for you? You refused. They have suspicion that you might be having. Be careful. Don't do this. I warn you. Take off. You do it. Okay, so what shall I do? There's a consequence. Always there's a consequence. Be careful. Don't close your eyes and walk in this area. You have a big holes. You might fall down and break your neck. You insist to close your eye and to go. Okay, what consequence? If you work, no. Tawakkal ala Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect me. No. This is not the way of protection by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The law of Allah will not help idiots. Seriously. Allah will help you, and I deserve, after I do my best in taking the means. I close my eye, walking in the place where there are holes, and I was told there are holes. I close my eye and I work and I say Allah will protect me. No. I deserve punishment now. I'm just making fun of the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wal iyadu billah. طيب. As we said, Allah says, فَأْذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. The word فَأْذَنُوا, be aware that. As if Allah is declaring. It's like in Arabic when you say فَأْذَنُوا اعلموا أن الله يعلن الحرب. Be aware. As if someone is announcing. Be aware that the king is saying so and so. If you do so and so, be careful. We are announcing on behalf of the king that the such and such are not allowed. Which means don't say I don't know. Allah is telling you that He is declaring war against the one who is dealing with riba. Now, last time I highlighted as well the following, let's say, simple point. This simple point basically is the following. Allah did not use فَأْذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ in the context of fornication or adultery or even murder. It's very strange, but He used it with this. As if Allah is telling us, dealing with the riba as system on earth is much more harm than many other crimes, because it kills humanity. It turns millions of humans into slaves. By the way, because of interest, hundreds of millions of people, they are working all of their life just to keep paying their mortgages or their interest all of their lives. Am I exaggerating, or this is a reality? Because of interest. Because of interest. Your house, the real value of your house, let's say for example 800,000. Because of the mortgage for 30 years, it became on paper initially 1.5 million. After 10 years, because of the شو التضخم بالإنجليزي? Inflation. Okay, جزاكم الله خير. Because of the inflation, they will recalculate and you will have it, you will pay more. Because now, if you failed to do it for whatever reason, you became sick, you have a car accident or something, the interest will become more and more and more. You will end up 35 years or 40 years, the 800,000 will be maybe 2.8 millions. Why? This is riba. طيب, You were planning in 20 years to finish the 1.3 million. When you ended up and you discovered the real amount became 2.8 millions, your grandson, inshallah, will continue paying it. Which means you will be enslaved all of your life. All of your life. Just paying for the bankers and the rich people. This is, by the way, interest banking system is the new world slavery. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. Most of us were slaves for this system now. Because all the time you just work to pay the interest. When Allah makes it haram, it's just to tell you, use the money properly. Because the money is misused by a minority of people to enslave the majority of people. Okay? Right. Now, while I was preparing, I remembered a khutbah I did here. I forgot when, maybe 1 year ago or more or less. I think it's very important to repeat it, part of the khutbah for you, and you will know why now. The title of the khutbah was Why the People of Power Hate Islam. Okay? Now, I made the khutbah based on part of a long article written by someone I think from Tamil or Bangladesh, I forgot. It was translated into English, and it was written in the context of the big attack by some mainstream Western media against the World Cup in Qatar. Do you remember what happened in Qatar? Amazingly, one of the most clean World Cups. No alcohol, no sexual harassment, no crimes. Everyone is happy, yet mainstream media on top, CNN, BBC, every day attacking the World Cup, all the time attacking, speaking to a degree. Some of the journalists, they could not stand this hypocrisy from them. They wrote on the Twitter, on X, they ask us to look for negatives. They ask us, don't show positive things, just focus on negatives. But why? In this context, this writer in Tamil language wrote this article. So I'm quoting part of it. Look to the article. After I finish it, then I will relate it to why Allah is declaring the war against those who deal with interests. Okay? The link will come later. Now, in part of the article, he is saying, and by the way, these numbers, he did it about 2 years ago. I did a quick research just to make sure whether the numbers are accurate. It was to a certain degree accurate, because numbers goes up and down depending on, the time and the perspective that they are doing. So more or less, they are accurate. He says, now, the global drug trade is worth of 321 billion a year. Alcohol sales in the world are $1,600 billion per year. The global arms trade is worth about 100 billion a year. The prostitution business is worth around 400 billion a year. In this world, the gambling business is around $110 billion a year in this world. Islam, continues, stands against $2,380 billion business every year, which means about 2.3 trillion. Okay? Completely haram. He did not mention the riba here. Okay? I did my own research with the riba. I will add it to this. But he's talking about now. Let's see. Drug trade, alcohol, arms, prostitution, and gambling. He mentioned just these 5. He continues, each of the above industries are run by private corporate bosses. If the world accepts the Islamic policy, focus now. to relate to our ayah. If the world accepts the Islamic policy of non-selling alcohol, liquor, and drugs, the loss will be 2,000 billion in drug mafia's business. Okay? Just these three. 2 trillion a year. Continues. Islamic law will end the $100 billion arms mafia business if they attack other countries for petrol without causing chaos on earth, killing innocent people and shedding blood. But they are earning by creating wars on a yearly basis at least 100 billion, which is a very, very humble estimation. I think it's much more than that, but I'm just using his article. He continues, if the Islamic policy of not engaging in prostitution comes into force, the prostitution mafia's $400 billion business will end. Nearly $500 billion a year, just prostitution. He continues, websites born of porn videos will be affected. Billions they are earning. If the world adopts the Islamic principle of no gambling, the $110 billion business of the gambling mafia will end. If the world accepts the Islamic principle that a woman's nudity is her privacy and not an exhibition, the 100 billion business of the porn mafia will end. It is Islam that has waged war. Focus now. It is Islam that has waged war on this $2,300 billion trade. Will they welcome that Islam without opposing it? Are you with me what he's saying? طيب. He continues, these mafias have bought to the world media to make them Islamic terrorists. You talk about some Muslims, which means these mafias, they push the media by buying them to keep talking and creating fake news about some Muslims as terrorists. And the media mafia has grown and flourished by eating the bones thrown by these mafias. They marched across the country chanting that Islam is terrorism. They nurtured terrorism with this money. The terrorism created by these mafias is called Islamic terrorism. Everyone said with one voice that Islam is extremism. He continues, the end, but I want these numbers. He was speaking about why they keep destroying the character assassination of the character of Islam. Islam is not doing any harm of them. It's not doing bad. Islam has nothing to do with terrorists. One of the best ethical religion. But if Islam came into force, Islam says no for gambling, no for alcohol, no for prostitution, no for porno, no for. Okay, all of these mafia's bosses will be affected. So let's attack the source. We'll stop these. But everyone knows that these are harmful things. This is the concept. I did my quick research because it did not mention the interest. I did mine. Okay? It was very difficult, not easy. Because I was searching through tens of websites to know what is the amount of global trading in banking system. To the best of my knowledge, in 2022, I came by tens of websites because they have a lot of complicated ways of calculating this. Most of my readings for about maybe 3-4 hours just about this a few months ago, I came up with the conclusion the general transactions or dealings on banking system on earth, officially it was between 20 to 22 trillion. Transaction between banking on earth, 22 trillion. يعني 22,000 billion. طيب, what could be the percentage of interest from this? I don't know. By the way, I don't know. I have no idea because I don't know how they calculate it. Is it 10%, 15, 13, 17, whatever? But let me say it's just 15%. So we are talking about 3.2 trillion. Yeah, 3,000 billion. I'm very humble with this. طيب. He was talking there about 2.3 trillion for gambling, prostitution, blah, 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 blah. And by the way, he and I did not mention the insurance companies. I agree? طيب. If we talk about 2.2 trillion for banking system, 2.3 for these 5, 4.5 trillion, يا عمي half a trillion for insurance companies. Yeah. So let's discuss at least the loss of these companies, these big groups of benefiting minority on earth, about between 6 to 7 and maybe 8 trillion. Let's consider it 6 trillion, which means 500 billion a month, which means about 18 billion a day, which means about 900 millions an hour. Which means since I started my speech with you, while I'm talking, they gain through this illegal ways at least 70 to 90 millions. While I'm saying the word millions, they are earning about 10 millions. Do you think we'll leave you and say, whoa, Islam is good for humanity? No. Not because they know Islam is bad, they know Islam is good. But Islam is the only religion who says clearly no interest, which means those people will lose 3 trillion or 4 trillion or 5, I don't know, but thousands of billions. But what about gambling? Same. What about prostitution? Same. What about human trafficking? Same. What about drugs? Same. What about gambling? Same. But look, where are the places where the people are losing most of their lives and wealth and health? Alcohol, car accidents, interest, gambling, prostitution, addiction and porno, destruction of the family. 80-90% revolves around these things, which is probably in Islam. Have you discovered why some certain benefiting entities, they must keep attacking Islam and making the image Islam is bad? Simply because Islam will stop their benefits. Very simple, by the way. 1 + 1 = 2. It's not complicated. You don't need to be a genius, intellectual, because, we have some bad Muslims, Habibi. Every nation, every country, every religion, they have bad followers. It's not the same. Christians, they have bad Christians. By the way, KKK. Have you heard about KKK? Those weird. They used to burn black people alive on the trees in the middle of the streets, just tens of years ago. They don't represent Christianity. Jews, they don't have bad people. Hindus, they don't have bad people. Look what happens in India now. Sikh, they don't have. Muslims, they have. Arabs, they have. Every nation, they have bad people. So it's not an excuse to tell, no. But when you generalize, when you demonize, when you dehumanize with this intense, there's a reason behind it. When you think about it, this is one of the big answers for this question, why? I can't force you to accept the explanation, but I'm giving you, I believe, a very strong justification. This is in light of, let me go now. I gave you an idea how we understand the verse in the Quran, فَأْذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. When you say, Allah says, be aware that Allah is declaring war against you. Say, what? War? Why? Because of the great harm you are destroying humanity. With the same is applicable in other things. And this will lead you to understand why most of the time mainstream powerful media is attacking Islam. Because some benefiting entities, they are feeding them with the money to keep attacking you, because if Islam came to force, they will lose. This is the circle. You see, just to understand what happens behind the scene. Wallahu a'lam. This is Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. I took just part of the khutbah and part of the article because it's much more than that, just to give you an idea. Now, next verse, inshallah. Okay, sorry. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, next verse, وَإِن كَانَ ذُو عُسْرَةٍ. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala finished a theme, okay, which is riba. Be careful, interests. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it fruitless. Don't waste your time. Keep your money. Allah will forgive you. If you insist, Allah is declaring war against you. Finished. Next topic now. Still dealing with money. Now, as I told you, I have 22 verses revolves around sadaqah, riba, money, and how to deal with these things. وإن كان ذو عسرة فنظرة إلى ميسرة وأن تصدقوا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله. If it's difficult for someone to repay a debt, ذو عسرة. If someone is in a difficulty and he is unable to repay the debt that he has taken, or somehow he's holding this debt. If it is difficult for someone to repay a debt, postpone it until a time of ease. Allah is encouraging those who have the money and somehow they decided to lend the money. The one who has taken the money is in a difficult situation. You are aware of this difficulty. Allah is encouraging you highly to postpone. Don't be tough. As long as you can. It's part of the ways to gain the Jannah. Now, being patient, okay? Or being patient and giving the time, waiting for the time of ease for someone who is in difficulty, unable to repay, is one of the greatest gates of getting into the Jannah. Islam is not asking you to forget your debts. It's your right. But Islam is encouraging you, as long as you can gain the Jannah by, don't keep pushing, give the time. Okay? Delay, postpone. One of the greatest. Actually, in a hadith, one of the hadiths, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave full forgiveness for someone, because he was, Prophet Muhammad mentioned the hadith, the meaning of the hadith, كان رجل في من كان قبلكم. قال يبعثوا, the meaning of the hadith, رجل كذا, one of the believers from the nations before you, which is Islam. Because as you know, we believe all followers of all prophets and messengers, they are all Muslims. They are all believers. So, رجل فيما كان قبلكم. He could be from the people of Israel, he could be from the followers of Isa alayhi salam, the followers of Yahya alayhi salam, the followers of Idris alayhi salam. Allah knows. One of the believers before you, he says, he used to be very rich and he used to lend the money for the people. When the due time comes, he used to send his, like office boys or the servants who work with him, go and bring the time because it's the due time. He said, anyone you find him in the difficulty, just postpone and don't push him and don't make any noise to him. And sometimes he used to push them, the meaning, if they can't at all, just delete the debts and forgive. قال فكان يعفو عن الناس فتجاوز عنهم فتجاوز الله عنه. Allah rewarded him by, like he used just to forgive, Allah forgave him. Subhanallah. So this is the meaning of it. If it's difficult for someone to repay a debt, postpone it until a time of ease. And if you waive it as an act of charity, it will be better for you if only you knew. This is now the highest level. And Allah gave you, as if Allah gave you, I'm not pushing you to forgive your debts completely, but please postpone. If you want something better, if you want to upgrade to first class, okay, grade A, Firdaus, not just the Jannah, forget it, delete. Waive it consider it a sadaqah, as an act of charity. As long as I'm not talking about dealing with fraudsters and cheaters and liars. No. I'm talking about He could be your cousin, could be your brother. And you are able. You are not in need. And it's completely out of his control. I'm not talking about the bad people, evil people who take your money and they try to play smart. They don't want to return it. No. Bring them to the court and let them teach a big lesson. I'm not talking about this. Talk about real, genuine situation. You are aware of it. You have enough money. You know his situation for whatever reason, but you know. You are sure and Allah knows that you know. Okay, highly recommended, postpone. What is better? Consider it a charity. Close the file. This act of forgiveness for the debts could be the main reason for you to be in the Jannah. This is like, subhanallah, Allah speaking about riba, now another act of how to deal with the money. Okay? To forgive, to close your eye, to give a charity for those in debt. Now, we come to my last ayah today, because the ayah after that, it has complete separation with something has to do with ayat al-dain, the debt. So the longest ayah in the Quran, verse in the Quran. Now we have an amazing ayah, very beautiful ayah, and very caring ayah. واتقوا يوما ترجعون فيه إلى الله ثم توفى كل نفس ما كسبت وهم لا يظلمون. Be mindful of the day when you will all be returned to Allah. واتقوا يوما ترجعون فيه إلى الله. This is the most critical, difficult moment or happiest moment ever in the life of our existence for every individual. Be aware of the moment when we will be returned to our Lord who created us. Now, then every soul will be paid in full for what it has done. Every soul, كل نفس, will be paid for what it has done. واتقوا ترجعوا فيه الله ثم توفى كل نفس ما كسبت. I gained XYZ. You will be paid, whether it's good or bad, evil or good and nice. توفى كل نفس ما كسبت, and none will be wronged. This ayah, by the way, it's believed by many scholars to be the last verse revealed in the Quran. This ayah, the last one. It was the last ayah, came as a revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Prophet Muhammad after he received it, and he asked them where to put it, what's the order. After that he passed away. Khalas. This is the end of the revelation of the Quran. Just for information, say what? But this is in the before the end of the Baqarah. Yes, because in Islam, the order of revelation is not like the order of the Quran itself. For example, the first 5 ayat came in the Quran, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق, which is in juzu number 30. Now, chapter al-Baqarah, in general, it came in the Medina after 13 years. It's number 2 in the Quran. It has nothing to do. Now, the order of the Quran itself, it's tawqifi. Who knows what's the meaning of this terminology from non-Arabs? Just a question just for non-Arabs. Do you know what's the meaning of tawqifi? What does it mean? From Arabs? Sorry, you know?
I'm just guessing.
It
was appropriate to the occasion that it came down?
No, this has to do with asbab al-nuzul, which is called the reasons of revelation. Tawqifi, Arabs, do you know? Yes? Yes. Tawqifi means it's a direct commandment from Allah. Prophet Muhammad has nothing to do with it. The order. Because some Orientalists try to say that, Prophet Muhammad he composed the Quran and he put the order of the Quran as he wants. No. It is tawqifi. Tawqifi means it direct commandment by Allah, the revision itself, and the place and the order of the ayat itself. And Prophet Muhammad has nothing to do with it. What came before? Yeah, for example, chapter al-Baqarah, It's about 3 juz', about 62 pages, 286 verses. Now the Quran itself, all of it, about 6,348 verses, around 94,000 words. Out of 6,348 verses, the last one out of this, it's this one. Now it's number 281 of chapter al-Baqarah, who came after 13 years. What? Yes, it's the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Wisdom by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The final order. So just to little, because some, how come in the middle of the Baqarah it's the last ayah? The last ayah is not Surah An-Nas. It's the last ayah, the last chapter in the order of the Quran. Okay? But let's come to the ayah again now. وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. Be mindful of the day when you will all be returned to Allah. Then every soul will be paid in full for what it has done, and none will be wrong. This came after Ayat al-Riba and declaring the war. Wallahu a'lam, one of the meanings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us, is giving us, preaching us, maw'idah. Be careful, because money is something very dear to the heart. And the one of us will not leave the haram money easily. It's not just the money, most of the desires. The porno sites, not easy. Addiction, smoking, hookah, shisha, alcohol, wallah, drugs. It's not easy. It's not easy. Some of them desires, some of them much more powerful than the others. Now, many of us, alhamdulillah, we don't drink. Even if you don't drink, even if drinking is halal, maybe many of us will not drink, because simply it's not if you are not involved by somehow, maybe you will not think about it. Many of us, we don't smoke. Okay, maybe we will not think about smoking. Alhamdulillah. Some desires are not like, but the money, no one but is aware how important money is, how serious money is, how powerful money is. That's why many people, they realize how haram it is to be naked on the TikTok. And they are muhajjabat, hijabi sisters. Yet for the likes and for the money they do it. They take off their hijab, they took part of they became half naked just for what? For the money. But this is a major sin, sister. Money talks, Sheikh. What can I do? Money talks. Please, you have to forgive. There's something beyond your understanding, Sheikh. Go away. You will not be able to understand it. No, we know. This is the test. Wallahu a'lam. Many people, they lie for money. Many people, they cheat for money. They do fraud action for money, hacking for money. All of the things they say, these big bosses, porno sites for money. What's the relation between a naked woman and BMW sports car? What's the relation? From logical point of view, is there any relation? But why every fancy car, very expensive, should be with a very nice, beautiful woman with a bikini? Why? It sells. Using what? The desire. It has nothing to do with the car. It's especially for the men. If you want to be, for example, you want to sell men's shoes. Why to put a naked woman with it? In the ad. What's the relation? The woman who accepted this, do you think she does not understand what's the story? She understands that they are using her body. But desire. Money. Okay. Forget if she accepts because she believes it's her privacy. This is not my point. Those who do it, why they do it? For what? Money. Using one of the desires, which is the sexual appetite. But the end result behind the scene, what is it? Money. Human trafficking. Do you think there is a person on earth who does not understand that this is a very bad act? Forget religions now. Who will be happy if you discover that your daughter was kidnapped for the sake of human trafficking? Who will be happy? Impossible. Even if you are a crazy, you can't. But those who do it, they don't realize. They do realize. But why they do it? Money. When you speak in the world of politics now, do you think the majority, if not 99.999%, they understand who's calling for the truth and who's the murderer and who's the victim and who's the criminal? They understand. Why they play as if they don't understand? Why? Authority, power and money. Look at them, many of them, they were paid money to say money, 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 money. Money is the most powerful element in our existence, which goes against many of spiritual and ethical, and religious things. So that's why, subhanAllah, we can understand why we have all of these verses talking about charity, sadaqah, because one of the meaning of sadaqah, look, because money belongs to Allah. I'm just a trustee. It's a trust in my hand. طيب. What's the benefit of sadaqah? Sadaqah means you believe and you have admitted that this money belongs to your Lord, even though your heart is highly connected to the money, yet you will take the money for the sake of your Lord secretly and you pay it. You are doing what? You are detaching the power of this desire. You are controlling the money. You are not letting the money controls you. This is the benefit of the sadaqah, by the way. Sadaqah, but there's a hadith, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's a long hadith. He was talking about many things. He came to a small statement, قال وصدقه برهان. He said, and sadaqah, charity, is a proof for faith. He did not say prayer is a proof. He did not say Hajj. He said sadaqah. Because one of the most difficult acts of worship is to pay, especially the secret sadaqah. The most beloved to the heart, by the way. And the most difficult. If it's up to us, if Allah did not mention the sadaqah, maybe none of us will pay among none of us. Because it is the real nerve that your life is depending on. By the way, when you come to prayer, there is a benefit for you. You need it because you want to change your time. You feel bored. You've been sitting on the computer for hours. You will see your friends. You will change. You will walk. You will do some sports. You will do some kind of whatever, like going to the gym, which is nice. No problem. Yes, Allah. Coming, you will see the people. You will chat. You will socialize. But sadaqah, if it's up to you, your heart does not like it. You want to have more money, more savings, more power. Giving sadaqah is against all kind of desires. So subhanallah, when you seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, started going to charity in many, 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 many verses. Then he mentioned, the ayats, we came to the riba. After the riba, be careful. If all of these kinds did not work with you, be aware. وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ. You are dealing with riba, you want to be gambling or something, be aware to the day that you will return back to your Lord. If this does not work, nothing will work. I mean, as if the ayahs say, if this will not work, nothing will work. وَالسَّعِيدُ مَنِ التَّعَظ. The happy person is the one who benefited from the preach or the preacher or the preaching, which means the maw'idha, or the preach came to him and he took the lesson. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يرحمنا برحمته بإذن الله. Now I will stop. Okay, I have now still time, but there is now the longest ayah in the Quran now, which is ayat ad-dayn, the ayah of the debts. It's a long ayah, full page, completely. So I need to start with a full session for it. It will be next time, inshallah. Do you have any question about riba or waging the war or the philosophy of why, or you want to add? Yes, brother.
There are too many ways to do the sadaqah.
Yes.
So what is the best way for the sadaqah? Slaughter of the any
Are you talking about being secret or in public?
What is the best way to sadaqah?
Best way to sadaqah? I mean, to be honest with you, to the best of my knowledge, through money is one. Through food, sadaqah. Clothing, sadaqah. Slaughtering animals, sadaqah. Helping any people in your time, sadaqah. What is the best? Actually, there is no best ultimately. What will determine what is the best is the following formula. What is your ability? What is the need that you are witnessing? Okay? What do you have? What the one who needs it? What is your intention? What is your sincerity? All of these all together will make it the best. Because now, like imagine that, God forbid, you are 85, living alone. You are facing loneliness. You have a good savings at your bank, and some kind of agencies are serving you, but you live alone. Imagine that I have a good amount of money. You don't need money. Even if you need money, you are not so poor. But your biggest problem in your life, loneliness. Do you think if I have a money and I have a time, I will gain ajr more by bringing you a gift every 10 days or by visiting you 5 minutes a day? 5 minutes a day for you. If I know that no one, because you don't have a family, they passed away or whatever, I know that my intention for the sake of Allah to try to reduce the influence of your loneliness for the sake of Allah will be the best sadaqah for you from me. And it could have the ajr equal to someone else, somewhere else, sometime else, who will be paying tens of thousands of dollars. So there is no clear cut. Okay, I'm just giving you another example. Imagine in theory, I'm not, but imagine in theory, I'm genius in math. I'm not. Okay? But imagine, let's imagine, without imagination, yalla aisho. Imagine that I'm genius in math. Now, and all of you have kids in your secondary school. Okay, you can collect money to teach them special private tutoring, but you are not able to find a sincere, clever math teacher. You are not able. Anyone you do is you keep paying money and they are either cheating, wasting the time, they don't have the means, they are not experts, whatever. And I'm genius in math, genius in delivering and teaching. What do you think my best sadaqah now is? To pay $10 there, or to chat with you, or to dedicate 1 hour a week for your kids? This is the best sadaqah now from me for your needs. But if you are a little bit poor, it will be doubled in ajr. Even if you need somehow money, but at the same time you are ready to kill yourself for your kids and you are not able to save them from the problem of the math exams. The best sadaqah from me now is what? To dedicate 1 or 2 free hours to teach your kids math in the masjid. I'll give you just the philosophy of it, brother. So now you have things. Your ability, the need, your sincerity, and your niyyah. Why you do this? To what degree you were sincere? What is the need, the one to you? And all of this, all the that will be the best, inshallah. Yes, another question.
So,
yeah.
One person, he took the loan from the bank and he is not able to pay the loan.
Okay.
So he needs help. So what is my duty? Whether I will help him or I will investigate.
To help him or investing what?
So what is my duty? He needs the money.
Investigate.
I have to investigate or I have to help him.
Okay, sorry. I thought you said to invest, not to investigate. I said, so you are asking me whether it is your duty to investigate. Now, if you have a reason to have some doubt, yes, definitely you have to investigate. If he is already a trustworthy person and you know nothing but everything good because you know him long time ago, no need to investigate. I mean, it depends on your knowledge about the person. If he's your close brother, no need. If he's not that and you have some doubts, you have to investigate. Because at the end, this money is trust, amana. You should not just give it because he asked you. You need to do it. It depends. It depends on the level of knowledge and to what degree he is trustworthy, or there's some doubts about his honesty or something. Depending on that, you take a decision, inshallah. May Allah accept. Any questions? So, yes, sister.
I
Sorry.
just wanted to know, you said that ayah was the last one, 281, that was revealed, but what about Surah Maida, ayah number 3, that today I have completed the religion for you? Isn't that the
That's why I said that it is believed by many scholars. That's not 100% consensus. So, because there's more than ayah they talk about it, 100, but there's some accounts, some reports about this, some reports about this. Wallahu alam. It could be maybe this last two, this and this behind, but definitely it's the end. But that's why it's believed by many scholars, not full consensus. Wallahu alam. Sorry, the brother here, we come to brother. Yes.
My question is regarding riba.
Riba.
So, riba comes from the premise of debt. So if there is debt, there will be riba.
Yes.
Technically.
Mm.
So, in our Prophet ﷺ, there were instances where he took debt. There was a famous hadith leading to an instance where he took money from a Jew, and then the Jew came and in front of many Sahabas, he accused him of taking the money and not returning. He was lying at them.
The rabbi.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, without getting angry, our Prophet, peace be upon him, he said, he didn't get angry, of course, and he instructed others to take care of that. Now, my question is, so debt is permissible.
Yes.
Now, at that point, at that time, when our Prophet, peace be upon him, when he took that debt, what was the underlying premise? Like, when he took that money, he, of course, assuming he didn't take any riba out of it, he didn't agree on a riba. What was the payment terms? Like, how will I pay you? Let's say I took, for example, I don't know how that time the currency worked. Let's say he took 10 dirhams at that time, right? And he must have agreed to the Jew or the rabbi that I will pay you after 90 days, 180 days, whatever. I'll pay you what? Something, right?
Same amount.
Same amount. But then, that understanding is not very clear anywhere. Whenever we talk about riba, we do not typically touch this matter, that when at this time debt was taken, how was it structured? Because that's the whole premise. When I used to be in Dubai and I used to work for an Islamic bank, now we can argue Islamic bank, but there's that argument whether they follow the right principles or not, but I'm not going into that. The common structure was, I help you to buy a car, I fix a price on that same day, and then over a period of next 5 years, you will pay me that price.
Okay, this is trading. This is trading.
Exactly.
That's not a loan, a debt, a loan. This is trading.
Exactly. So, this particular point, which leads to the point where it is perhaps a mudaraba structure, where an investment structure. I don't know what structure.
Yes, this structure. It is a big difference, brother. Now, sorry, continue.
So, it is very important for us. The most important role for you, perhaps, is to tell us what are the structures that was used at that time. Because we don't know that. We only talk about riba, but then we need to understand what form of debt was actually undertaken by our Prophet.
Yes, a loan, what we call it now al-qard al-hasan, or the loan, which completely, the Islamic acceptable loan, basically, to take an amount of money, you return it exactly as you take it, period. This is the loan, okay? We have now some kind of investment or trading, al-murabaha, trading, okay? And you are a bank, I want to buy a car, you buy a car, for example, if it's cash, for example, you do the risk and you go and bring it or whatever, you are a trader. You trade with China, you shipped the car to you, it costed you from China to your shop, for example, 10,000, you will pay it to me cash 12,000. 12,000, I took it. Trading. Third trading now, by installments. It's acceptable in Islam. The cash, for example, you have the right for your risk and time and effort, the 10,000, the original amount of the car, to be sold by 12. Right. Now by installments, they say I will pay you by 3 years, for example, 36 months. Because of this time, you can put a fixed number of money, no addition at all. Instead of the 12,000, let's say 14,000, because I will repay it fixed from the very beginning. Trading by installments. We have mudaraba, now the partnership, entrepreneurship, okay, investment. Now mudaraba, basically, my efforts with your money, my money and efforts with your efforts and your money. Now partnership. المؤمنون عند شروطهم, our conditions. You need me or I need you, or both we need us. 50-50, 70-30, 90-10, regardless. Deal. We go together. If we lose, I lose my efforts and my money, you lose your money, I use my efforts, and that's it. This is all forms. Or qard hasan. Qard hasan, simply money, return back money, which is one of the ways. Now the investment, the partnership, that trading, all of these ways to grow the money, to gain more, which is all of them legal. Now riba, because I explained at that time, maybe you were not with us. Riba, basically, it's when you control the money, you use the money itself as an item, you sell the money with the money, and you take the money, you take the money. Money is created in the law of the universe, by the law of Allah, to be replaced either with an items, which is good training, or for services. I give you money, you give me a service. I'm a plumber, you give me the money, I fix your plumbing system. You are a mechanic, I give you money, you fix my car. Or you are a trader, I need a device, I need a food, I pay money, I take an item. Or partnership, what I explained. Or qard hasan, which is one of something. It's just to show the goodness between humans. We are not criminals. We are not just we want to gain. We have all of these ways to gain. This exceptional way when someone cannot work, we have charity. Sadaqah, pure sadaqah. Someone is need, no repayment, no investment, nothing, for the sake of Allah. Then we have fifth way or sixth way or whatever, which is the qard, which is the loan, hasan, Islamic, no interest, that's it. So this is the general ways that we have. We have just 2 minutes for the...
On that point, I have heard some scholars, between the school of thought, they're saying that any asset-based debt, even if you're taking interest, that can be qualified as punishment. Now, I don't know the details.
To be honest with you, I'm not expert in Islamic finance. I'm giving the general rules. Once we delve into details, let's go to experts, Islamic experts. Wallahu a'lam. رحم الله امرأ عرف قدر نفسه. جزاكم الله خير. Thank you very much. بارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. See you next Monday بإذن الله. السلام عليكم.